Good afternoon, students. In my today's lecture, we are going to deal with a prose extract which is available in a dialogue form written by F.L. Brain. And the title of today's lecture is Socrates and the Schoolmaster. Socrates and the Schoolmaster by F.L. Brain. Now let's move ahead and see the introduction of this lesson. F.L. Brain. The period of F.L. Brain is 1882 to 1952. He was honored military officer, worked as an ICS officer during the British Empire, that is British Raj in India. So first of all, ICS is what? So ICS stands for Indian Civil Service. So he was the Deputy Commissioner in 1920 in Gurgaon, which was one of the most backward district in Punjab region. For overcoming of this state of backwardness, he started a program of rural reconstruction, under which he focused on 5 things. The first is farming. Write down. The first is farming. Second thing on which he focused on, and that was the health. Third was education. Third was the education, and fourth was recreation. And of course, the fifth was, which was most important, on which he focused on personally. So organization of cooperative societies. Organization of cooperative societies. So on these 5 things he started to work on. So his first 2 books, Socrates in an Indian Village and The Remaking of Village India, have dealt with the traditional approach of an Indian people and the rational approach of a Western figure like him about the degraded socio-cultural condition of India during the British Raj. I mean to say the British rule. So during his period of service as an ICS officer, he positively tried to improve the life of an Indian villagers. But at last, he failed in his mission. Why? Because of his British outlook and of course the authoritarian methods of working. He did not get much support from his own people, I mean to say the British government, and of course the villagers of Gurgaon district, which was in Punjab region at his time, showed least interest. These people from this village, they showed least interest in his dream project. Socrates and the Schoolmaster is an extract from his book Socrates in an Indian Village. This is the title of his own book, and this lesson, I mean to say a prose section in a dialogue form, has been taken from this book Socrates in an Indian Village. So it is based on an actual conversation between the author, that is Socrates, and the people of Gurgaon district of Punjab. These dialogues express aversion in the sense dislike and hate. What is the meaning of aversion? Aversion means dislike and hate, and resistance of villagers to any change in their established kind of lifestyle, even if it is for their own welfare and the benefit. They don't want it to have any kind of change in their well settled Indian village life. Now just have a look of your surroundings or an area in which you are living. It will clarify you that what are the things or situation bother you, and the other things or such happening which you personally would like to appreciate. This is the theme. This is the theme what exactly the author F.L. Brain has discussed in this prose section, which has a title Socrates and the Schoolmaster. This extract is a piece of prose in the form of conversation that I have already told you. It is in the form of conversation between the British officer and the villager of Gurgaon district of Punjab state. So, which actually happened between the British officer who called himself Socrates, and the people of Gurgaon, which is one of the most backward area of Punjab. Socrates was appointed as a joint commissioner in Gurgaon. He would think that it was his responsibility to make some positive changes in Indian social system and of course in the life of the people of his region, where he was appointed as a deputy commissioner. So he was an officer of ideas as well as vision about his work and the duty. So he actually wanted to use those ideas to make some changes, of course the better changes, make some changes in a traditional India and transform it into a modern India in all way. For that purpose, he conversed his ideas with a zamindar. The first character of this dialogue which had happened between the British officer and the people of this small village, small district, which was much famous as a backward area in Punjab. So the first character is there, zamindar. So he conversed with his ideas with the zamindar of Gurgaon village, and also asked the second character, also asked the schoolmaster to apply some rational changes in his teaching. His all suggestions, his all instructions were based on the rational as well as practical approaches towards the life. This is the most important thing. While understanding the character of this British officer, it is necessary to understand what exactly he was thinking about the development and about the upgradation in the life of the people of India. He also explained to Zamindar, to him how modern life with good and virtuous learning is important than the traditional life, which he usually found full of vices and bad customs while governing in that area as a British officer, as a joint commissioner. So the discussion opened with a critical remark made by the villager, of course the Zamindar, to Socrates. And what was it? What sort of changes he wanted to bring in his village? Then Socrates just clarified his intention to work on evil matters and cruel systems in the society. He explained that his job is just like the doctor who simply takes care of the diseased patients. Therefore, healthy and strong things need not be much care. So Socrates complained to the villagers that how people of the village like Gurgaon had changed completely. They had dropped good customs and started to practice only the bad ones in their lives. So this was what exactly this officer observed in regards of the people those who are living in the village areas. So villager also accepted, the Zamindar also accepted this reality that a rapid change had come in the behaviors of the people, and instinctively means automatically, instinctively means unconsciously, they are accepting the customs which are bad and not at all socially acceptable. It means vices. So Socrates knew that the modernization, it was the British, of course, who brought modernization in India. So being an officer, it was known to Socrates that the modernization brought by British in India was also somewhere responsible. This modernization is somewhere responsible for adverse change in people's behavior. And what was the reason? There might be a possibility. In what sense? Possibility that the educational change in India and other developments in various sectors misunderstood by the Indian people definitely. Or they might not understood. So there is a second possibility that they might not understood the actual meaning and importance of education. So educationists and teachers might have failed to teach them properly for what purpose an educated person should use his education he should use his knowledge. So that is why in his planning, as I have already told you, that he started to work on farming, health, education, recreation and organization of the cooperative societies. So in his planning, Socrates had focused on the education sector on a larger scale, and he considered it as a prime source for making better changes in the Indian society. So he wanted to restructure the place like Gurgaon district with the help of making some better changes in these 5 areas: farming, health, education, and of course the recreation. And the last point that was most important, that was the organization of cooperative societies. So consequently, in the next scene, he conversed with a village schoolmaster. As I already told you, the first character, the Zamindar, and the second character was there, the schoolmaster. Here the role of schoolmaster is a typical one who had not even understood the exact meaning of teaching in the education system. He was just complying his regular duty of teaching how to read and how to write, and getting his salary at the end of the month. How much? He was responsible for the welfare and the overall development of the students. It did not bother him, but on the contrary, he was very much cautious about his own promotion as well as increments, regular growth, increments in his salary. So schoolmaster agreed with the point that it is his duty, being a guardian. After discussing the importance of education with Socrates, he also agreed with this point that it is his duty, being a guardian, to take care of good habits and to teach some important virtues to the student as well as peoples of the village. So Socrates once again made the thing clear to Master G. Somewhere this word has been used by the writer Master G. So schoolmaster, that his job is not only to teach history, geography and mathematics, or usual things like how to read and how to write. He is destined, he is meant, he is expected. So he is destined to teach the good habits, and he must build up the character of students in a proper way. That was the officer of this British government was expecting from this schoolmaster. So at first, for that thing, he must set his own example as a role model for the student as well as the people of that area. So Socrates urged to the schoolmaster that he must show it through his character, through his behavior, that he is supporting always good things, good habits, and rejecting the bad habits. Because the school students were entrusted to schoolmaster. They always considered him as a role model. He can bring, it is only the teacher can do this thing. He can bring confident, and he can bring confidence, and he can bring that sort of positive change among the student. So Socrates was confident that student will never let him down. So Socrates expresses his views on some essential requirements. In those days, specifically during the British Raj, people used to think all about the money matter. People used to think about the ornaments. People used to have some sort of physical things with them. So here he expresses his views on some essential requirements like hygiene and sanitation, mosquito nets, quinine, etc., rather than foolishly spending money on ornament making. But here once again schoolmaster displays what? He displays his inability to teach such things apart from the syllabus of the school. So it shows the mean mentality of the school teacher and how he is avoiding an extra work which is actually expected to be done by the teacher himself only. At last, once again, Socrates succeeded to explain the main purpose of education to schoolmaster. It is not just to make the student to write and read or to enable them to earn their bread and butter only. It is of course different than that. So these people or students should not be left to die in a diseased manner. So ultimately, it is the duty of the government and its servants, both type of servants are expected. The servant of British origin and the servants of Indian origin. The schoolmaster and the British officer. So servants to provide the happy environment, suitable environment, and make proper development in farms, in education sector, and in other correlated sectors of society for healthy and happy life of the people. So such practical education will help the student in regards of hygiene and sanitation, in regards of the good character, in regards of the good habits, virtues. So such practical education will help the students to cope up with the situation. And it will definitely help the student to win the battle of the life. During the last scene of this conversation session, Socrates here, the mother is scolding her child with abusive and filthy language, but except him, no one even noticed it, because it was daily routine in those days in the country like India and the Indian villages. So because it was a daily routine and a part of the social happening in Indian villages, even the schoolmaster who was standing beside the officer did not find it offensive or unacceptable social behavior. So he thought that it's a routine and it's supposed to happen in Indian society. Therefore, Socrates thought that it is impossible. If you are using such filthy slang or socially unacceptable taboo kind of language for your own people, for your countrymen, then how it could be possible, or it could be inappropriate at the same time to have or show some sort of respect for them. So Socrates shares his childhood experience at this moment, how he was nurtured well and taught well about such social behavior properly by his own mother. So for shaping one's character, the role of a mother is more important along with the role of a teacher in the society. So that is why Socrates insisted upon that they must taught a proper use of respectful language in social communication. Because your social communication shows not simply your personality, but it exhibits the picture of your country. Therefore, the role of the schoolmaster in the life of students, as well as his conscious, attentive look on social happening, is much valuable, is much important, and it is much worthful than anything else in the world. Thank you so much.